Hey everyone, welcome back to Dr. D.C.A YouTube channel. Here you're going to learn how to slowly and steadily invest into stocks as well as crypto. Please like and subscribe the video if you find this content useful, and please feel free to share with your friends. Let's get started. Today we actually are going to talk about quite a few things. One thing I want to share with you is what is a key factor in understanding are the markets going to reverse or they're going to go down, how media plays a role in this as well, and why it's very important. Honestly, I don't watch news at all. I've stopped watching news for like 4 or 5 years now, and how that can help you to navigate into your investment. We're going to talk about the inflation numbers that came this week. We are also going to talk about what happened with the XRP cryptocurrency and why there was some euphoria into the crypto world, especially the altcoin market a couple of days back. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I want to show you is our fresh memory of last 3 years, let's say. Okay, COVID happened. What happened? The market had a very big correction. This is a chart of Nasdaq, by the way. Uh, we had extreme fear. What did the markets do? You remember this time of 2020, everything was dooms and gloom. The world was about to end, and in that extreme fear, the market absolutely skyrocketed. Roll back to around 2022, the markets peaked, right? I think it was like around November 2021, right? We actually felt like the COVID is getting over, or at least much better than what happened in 2020, extreme fear situation. However, what did the market do? The market reversed in terms of like going down, right? Then came like a massive fear of, oh, everything is getting over, recession and this and that. What did the market do? It reversed again. So are we getting into that zone of, extreme euphoria? And, are we getting like waiting for like one extremely good news? And then that might be this like the peak of the stock market. And then, we start correcting again. I'm not saying it's going to be like this, but at least some sort of correction, right? So this is what you need to understand in terms of investing, right? Like what happens, how our own fears and greed play a bigger role than actually what's going on, right? And market always front runs in the sense like before the extreme fear hit, this market just corrected, right? And before the extreme greed came, the market just skyrocketing because most people are always going to be on the wrong side of the trade, right? And on this channel, we're going to learn about this. This is a very key factor to understand. I've been saying past 2 weeks, we are getting into the extreme greed situation now in terms of the stock market as it's approaching the all-time high. And now it's time we have to be careful. And I will align this with the pricing of Bitcoin and how we may see a peak around 40 to 50,000 range, aligning with the stock market peak of some sort, right? And then we correct, we stabilize, and then potential continuation in the future. Okay. So let's get started with the Nasdaq index. This is the trend line we have been watching. I've been saying this for the last 2 3 weeks. We are approaching the first resistance of 14,500. As I said in the last video, if the earnings are good from the big companies, the blue chip companies, this is going to smash through and probably all-time highs, like right near the corner. If the earnings are not good, I would hope we, sort of hold this line. So let's just say end of the month, we'll know, like, in like, let's say 2 to 3 weeks, what this market would do. It would be around, let's just take 30 days. So a 10% correction, right? If the earnings are not good, the Nasdaq corrects to around 12.5. This is still literally, following the trend. So I don't think that's a big deal, to be honest. If that happens, expect Bitcoin to go to like 25K. It's you kind of what if Nasdaq falls, there's a high chance Bitcoin falls as well. Okay. So that's where we stand. Uh, things look good. except what we talked about here, we are getting into the extreme, greed situation. We marked that with the relative strength index, which I was showing last couple of weeks. We are entering into the over bought territory, and this doesn't happen often, by the way, right? But as I said, this could go for a while. Like we could have another 2, 3 months of this, even uh, you know crossing the previous all-time high, and everyone thinks, oh, the next bull market is back, and then boom, like 10, 15, 20% Nasdaq correction comes, right? So, but my point is, when this happens, you have to be careful, right? You cannot just start building big positions, and that's how we don't mess things up. The time to invest is obviously when there's like extreme fear, right? So right now, we have to figure out which markets are still not doing that great and slowly invest in that. In my opinion, right now, stock market isn't something, it's basically in the greed territory. So your returns are not going to be big and there's more risk. So we believe in, lower risk and higher rewards, not the other way around, right? So that's Nasdaq. There's another thing I want to show, which CNN Business. They show the fear and greed index, and it's clearly showing like an extreme greed. Right, we are entering in this zone of, again, this could stay for a while. As I said, this could be 2, 3, 6 months, even potentially, right? But this basically means that this is around the time when markets are close to the peak, right? So now, I want to show like how this could align for Bitcoin as well. So for example, let's just say we say in the extreme, greed territory for a while. As you know, like Bitcoin has been battling this 32K resistance for a while. If this is convincingly broken, because stock market keeps going high, especially at the end of the week, if the earnings are good, this will absolutely go bonkers. And the first resistance I probably should put something here to show you guys the resistance. This is the line we are going to be watching. This is the box we're going to be watching, right? So it would absolutely skyrocket and mark the peak, right? So you can understand what I was trying to say with the stock market, right? Like the stock market world, if the earnings are good, right, we could just skyrocket to all-time high of 16,000 in next few months. But this is only around 10% of it. It's not that far, right? 14, 15% of it. 3 months you could easily just like, skyrocket and just, top that number. Meaning Bitcoin could also go to that range of 40, $50,000, which is around 50% up from, current position of Bitcoin, right? I'm not going to like go through other details because we are still following this trend line, so it's not a big deal. This is going to be the biggest resistance in my opinion, but you also need to consider, just in case if the earnings are not good, this could roll back over and again retest 25,000, which was the resistance, right? Even potentially breaking this line. Look, Bitcoin actually always likes to do this. It likes to take money from the both sides. So, for example, if this rolls over, a lot of people are going to be like bearish and thinking, oh, we're going to touch the bottom again. If that is extreme fear, it will reverse again and go back up, right? It happened here. Look at this. Everyone felt, oh, another low is coming, and it just completely reversed. And I mean, if you want to see, like, this is freaking 60% move in like 1.5 months, 2 months, right? This is not a small move in a bear market, right? So this is how the fear and greed plays. If you ask me, as I said, it will all depend on the earnings. If the earnings are good, we are going to go probably to like 40, 50,000 mark. Otherwise, this will roll over. The other thing to talk about is, let's go to trueflation side. Uh, the the reported, U.S. government, reported the inflation number up to 3%, so it's consistently falling, right? And trueflation side is also showing this is still falling, right? Which is a good news, and that's why market rallied this week. which basically means that, Fed doesn't need to increase the rate because, inflation is really falling and their goal is aligned with the falling inflation. So they don't necessarily need to, raise the rate. Who knows? You can't, predict if they're going or not, right? If they do, the market may correct a bit because, markets are also like very inflated right now. Um, but, in terms of the inflation data, it looks really good. My assumption is they're going to start cutting the rates sometime next year, and that's when we are probably going to see the correction. Because as I said, if the Fed cuts the rate, as I showed you in this diagram, that's an extreme good news, right? That's when we make it into the euphoria, and then you see like a market correction because everyone starts saying, oh, all the fears are gone. The market should go to 20,000 in terms of Nasdaq and so forth, right? That's when things get a little bit tricky and you start reversing. And well, we'll be watching. If that happens, we're going to be loading up into the stock market. Right now, we are more interested into the altcoin market, and that's something I want to talk next. So let's go into the XRP. Okay. Uh, this is what happened to XRP right here. It went up 100% in one day, double from like around 46 cents to all the way to 94 cents. So apparently there was a lawsuit going on between XRP and SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, and what they they actually just got a partial, from my understanding, partial win that XRP can be relisted into the exchanges, and that's why this euphoria came. In my opinion, this is a great news because for the altcoin market, they need to be traded somewhere. If US government keeps, pushing that back, then basically those coins cannot trade in the big exchanges where the big money is, right? And that gives a setback because if something is not trading, how are you going to value it like properly in terms of like, high gains? So right now, like the market is in euphoria of some sort, right? And what happened is like it just pumped, it corrected quite a bit, by the way, from that peak. This is a 25% correction, right? And a lot of altcoins also rallied and corrected. So we can take an example, well, not that much, but and this is a weekly, so you probably won't see that much of a difference because we have a bit of correction itself from the peak. But as you can see, ADA corrected around 70% after having that big pump. But my point is, this is a great news around the bottom area of a lot of altcoins that they can be traded and they may have to pay some fees to SEC, but eventually it's going to return. And that brings me back to the index we are watching, which is going to be the altcoin index, right? So my point is, let's just watch weekly because we don't want the clutter, right? This is the area where the good news from SEC came, right? But the market hasn't rallied much because right now we are still in depression. And there's something very interesting. I want to show why this is the case and why this is a good time to invest into the altcoin market. As I said in the last video, this is the most underappreciated market, and this is going to give you the biggest return. There's a reason why we have a big altcoin portfolio versus the stock portfolio. Stock portfolio is like almost 50% of what we have into the crypto world. And into crypto world, we also have mostly invested into altcoins because we are waiting for the 2025-26 season, in my opinion. All right. So this is a good news. I put another box because this might be actually the bottom for the altcoin. We may go a little bit lower, but this might be today's news is actually telling this week's news about SEC for XRP is telling me this is potentially bottom. However, we are not in that kind of euphoria, like this kind of euphoria, right? That happened in 2021 for the altcoin market. We are rather into consolidation. So big crash of, let's say from the peak around 75%, right? And then consolidation. In my opinion, this was the first bottom. Then we went to like a little bit of depression. It broke out of this falling wedge, and now we're consolidating in between these two boxes, right? This could continue for a while, by the way, until a Bitcoin halving, which is going to be in, I think, April 2024, right? Let's adjust this box a little bit, right? So until here, this could continue to go between these two boxes. However, if Bitcoin just breaks through 40, $50,000 range, then this could actually, this is why I drew this line, because this was one of the support for a little bit. And, we may touch 600 billion market cap, which is going to be a massive gain, by the way. If this happens, uh, our crypto portfolio is going to be 3x from this prices. Like this will be $30,000. Okay. And if this happens very quickly, I'm not a trader. I do swing trade here and there, but we have to consider if we enter very quickly into this zone where the stock market hits all-time high, the crypto goes like Bitcoin goes to $50,000, we have to reconsider if we want to liquidate all them and go back to cash if this quickly just rises, right? We also have to consider, like, should we stop investing into anything because, everything is just going up crazy, right? Because that's not the time I'm interested in investing. I'm interested in investing when this is going on, right? Like sideways. And there's one more very important thing I want to show. So there's this guy called Benjamin Cohen. He is, like data scientist. He gives very good data. And I was listening to one of his podcasts, and this is what he showed, what he calls social metric risk, right? And what he's showing is, this, I think this blue line is basically the price, and this red line is showing like the social, risk. What he means by social risk is how many retail traders are there by observing into the tweets, the number of YouTube views, the number of new YouTube subscribers, and so forth. So as you can see, in 2018, this absolutely skyrocketed with the price, right? And then the interest just went down. So did the price because there are like no retail traders. They're all gone, right? And what happened in 2021? Again, it rose like crazy views, crazy tweets, number of tweets, and so forth. And again, what's happening right now? It has like just gone very down, right? And the price also corrected, and it's like consolidating now. Now, my point is, this is coming close to the bottom, or it has already probably bottomed. And these are the times I'm more interested into D.C.A, right? Because this is the time when if you do it right and slowly every week as we are doing, it is going to go give you 5, 10 times results in terms of the altcoin market. If you are into the good stuff, right? We have 6, 7 years of data that should be good enough to decide, what are the solid altcoins. As I said, I'm not interested in 200x. You should go to some other channels, because they're going to basically lie to you about 100x, and I'm not interested in that. I'm a realist in terms of like, getting my results. And honestly, if you can go 5 times, 10 times your portfolio in 2 years, that is a ridiculous return. Okay. So all those 100x guys, good luck with that. Most of you will lose money. I'm more interested in like, systematically moving my liquidity and, looking at decade view. But definitely in the altcoin market, you're going to have like a swing trade in a couple of years and so forth. And that's what we are looking forward to. Okay. So this is, in my opinion, very, very useful information. Now let's quickly go to our stock portfolio first. Sorry, our crypto portfolio first, and then we're going to go into the stock portfolio. Okay. So what did I add? I added more router protocol. We talked about router protocol in the last video. Let me open up my chart for router protocol. Again, as I said in the last time, we are basically trying to consolidate our position in router protocol. This is, in my opinion, a 10x play. I do see this going to $30 to $50 range in the bull market. We got in again around the same price, 330 or something, right? And partially because, as you can see, we are watching this resistance line, right? Right now, it retested and it is trying to continue. And considering Bitcoin is trying to push and break that 30,000 resistance, this could actually meet this $8 to $10 initial target for the router protocol. And as I said, we'll have to see if we are around 3 times our money. Do we take some of the chips off the table and then wait for like a correction and then get back in? Or what should we do? We'll have to see. Okay. But this is what's happening with the router protocol. Um, Honestly, there's not much going on with Polkadot Cardano. They had some sort of run because of the XRP news that I talked about. The other two things we added is Curve and Uniswap in our portfolio. Our portfolio is doing pretty decent, in my opinion. It's 10% up. I don't expect this to skyrocket right now until Bitcoin decides which way it wants to go. That's when liquidity will start flowing into this, altcoin market, especially considering the good news we had. Okay, so this looks fine. If we want to quickly go through some of the other altcoins, which is, Cardano. Cardano, as I said, now for Cardano, this becomes a resistance box, which is around, 46 cents. Okay, it had a big bounce because of the XRP news, as I said, but this is again going to play as a resistance. And is it going to reverse? I don't know. It really depends on Bitcoin. I do not see Cardano going below, above a lot. It can go all the way to $1, then get rejected. But that would be like a euphoria peak in this mini altcoin season if we end up having that season. Okay. Polkadot, the same. In fact, Polkadot chart looks much better. It hasn't done much at all. And this is the kind of chart I enjoy in terms of futuristic technology where nothing is going on. You feel it's dead, everything is over. In my opinion, it's not. Let's see CRV, same thing. Look at the chart. It's nothingness, right? You have to make it really, really bigger to understand there's something going on with this. Same thing with Uniswap. Sure, it had a little bit of pop here, but again, look at this. This is just looking dead. However, there's something interesting going on here. And why I do think this might $3.5 might be the bottom, because look, Uniswap had a massive falling wedge. It broke down, and look at this resistance, this yellow line. It's trying to cross now. This is multiple touch. Look, the way to see something is breaking out is you have to find a trend line that has a multiple touches. So if we think about this, 1, 2, almost 3, and look at this. This is many, 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 many touches. And then it's just like breaking out, trying to potentially go to like $13. If the, small altcoin season comes, this could double. And we'll have to see what we do with our investment with Uniswap at that time. Okay, so the only thing I want to show is Litecoin. Everything else is pretty much there's not much going on for me to show you anything. So with Litecoin though, I'm still not happy with this investment. Honestly, this should have, and maybe this is what happened because everyone thought the Lycan halving is coming in the first week of August. That's why it's probably not doing much, right? Because it should have, right? And maybe there's a lesson that I can say maybe a month down the road that I learned. If everyone talks about this one thing, then it actually just doesn't happen. But in my opinion, one interesting thing about Litecoin is, as we said, we have to see a resistance line in terms of multiple touches. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and almost 6. Right now, it's retesting. It has 2 more weeks, to be honest. In crypto world, you could actually see 100% candle as you saw in XRP. So it's definitely possible. And if that happens with Litecoin, I'm so out. So out. Like 200 is like my max in terms, because it's all about that risk, right? So if Litecoin is pretty slow in terms of its price movement, crypto is narrative driven. So as you can see, like this, first week of August is our narrative for Litecoin, which is the hounding. Could it go higher after that? Sure, I'm not interested. It's more risk for me. So I would say even $150, $160 is sort of the range where I'm like, okay, it's about time to pack up our bags and maybe invest in something else or sit tight on our cash. Okay. We have how much we have in Litecoin? We have around $1,000. We are up 10% because we came around $85 or so. Um, but honestly, this has been not that fruitful in my opinion. 10% is not kind of the uh, you know, uh, route I want to go in terms of our gains in the crypto world. Something is risky, and then getting that much of money, that's not good in my opinion. But technically, it looks solid, right? It's not some even if it is false, this is not something we're going to lose a lot of money on. So in that case, you always have to see risk versus reward factor, right? So it doesn't have that much of risk in terms of losing money, and that's why I'm holding my position, right? Because it's a narrative, and if we double, we double. That's the bet we take. Okay. So that's our crypto world update. Now I want to go into the stock. Very, very important update about Coinbase. Something I'm watching about Coinbase is, and we probably talk about this in the last video as well, is the volume at the bottom. Look at this chart. This chart is incredible. It had a massive collapse, and there's so many buyers that came up to hold Coinbase at that 40-ish dollar range. In my opinion, that's definitely Coinbase bottom, unless we have a massive war and COVID comes back and everything happens at the same time, right? And because of that XRP news, which is a great thing for Coinbase, the reason it's a great thing because once XRP is, well, I think it got relisted today on Coinbase. And that basically means that other altcoins won't have issues with trading. And that's how Coinbase is making money. It's charging you a lot for trading altcoins. It's charging you, I don't know, like 3% fees on, Coinbase platform for you to, trade on those altcoins. And this basically means if 4 year continues, Coinbase could double from here. This has been our biggest, stock investment. We got in around $50. We've been DCAing, and it absolutely skyrocketed. So if I go to the portfolio for stocks, are around, up we are, let's see, we are up around 50% in our total gain. And the Coinbase stock has literally doubled. So we are 100% at Coinbase. Am I interested in selling? No, we got into like really good price. The absolute bottom is around 40%, $40. We got in around 50. So I'm not interested in selling. However, let's say in 2 months it doubles, we may have to reconsider because that's a big move, and we'll have to see what we want to do with Coinbase at that time. Okay. The other stock I added is UiPath, and I've briefly talked about why I'm building position in UiPath because there are a lot of AI stocks I'm watching. For example, C3.ai. This guy has gone from like $10 to almost 55 times. Palantir, from the bottom of 6 to almost 18, 3x, right? UiPath is something that hasn't moved. It was 10, sure, it's like 80% up from that absolute bottom. But as you can see the chart, this doesn't look like it has like gone up to like, like 50 or something, right? And UiPath is going to automate the process. I gave an example in earlier videos, let's say you're getting too many emails about something you are selling as a business, and you want to like filter out the important emails which will lead you to more business. You can use UiPath software to automate that process. So it's actually doing something in action for you instead of an employee you may have to hire to do it online, right? And it's doing with the UiPath software. And that's why I'm a believer of UiPath. And in my opinion, the chart looks pretty nice. It has probably bottom around $10. And we are waiting for like 22 is probably one of the biggest resistance. But in my opinion, even if the stock market reverses, this is a low risk, and we can slowly build a position in path. This is exactly why I'm not investing in other stocks and stock because it has basically skyrocketed. I'm really interested in investing in AI into stocks, but we need to wait for a cool off period. We need to wait for that, correction in stock market where we go into some sort of fear territory, and then I will consider re-entering the stock market. But right now, in my opinion, crypto altcoin market is best return it has the best potential for the returns. Okay, that's pretty much it for today's video. Please like us, subscribe us, follow me on Twitter. I'm going to post a link of my Twitter account. Good luck, everyone, with your investing, and I'll see you guys next week.